Hello. I hope you're doing all right. I know I am, with one exception, of course. That being certain news, let's say, which have to do with Gilbers, of course. Hence the category. Before we go into it, this is just gonna be a quick yap. It's not intended to be any gameplay, which I very honestly put on the title as well. Um, so where to start with this one? All right. Remember that weird shit that happened, like, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago? I don't even remember when it happened, but it had to do with like an interview um, of an NC shareholder or something like that. And the guy said something, and that something was misinterpreted as, "Oh yeah, we're planning Guild Wars 3 and all that," and it started like this whole thing. It started this fucking shit show of people dooming and being like, okay, the game is dead and blah blah. And I even talked about it extensively myself. And it was generally just really not a good show. Anyway, what happened in the end was that ANet themselves like came out and said, hey, there is no Guild Wars 3 planned at all, and even if it was, basically it would be many years before you even heard about it, right? Because there's nothing planned, basically. That's not a thing, like in any way, shape, or form. Now, I do want to keep this kind of like contained and quick, so I'm not gonna show you the post. I've done all that, like when I was covering that, covering as if I'm some kind of, big shot. But no, I'll use the word, it's fine. But yeah, so when I covered that, I did show the source and the statement and everything. It also started the whole fucking spam of content creators of various like levels and caliber, you know, making videos about how the game is dead and Guild Wars 3 is coming out, and that's it, you know. And I even watched some of these on stream and commented on them and all that shit. And yeah, sure, okay. And now here we are, like maybe a couple of years later. Again, I don't remember exactly when that happened, but whatever. It's definitely not many years. And, here's ArenaNet just hiring, casually just hiring a writer, to put it simply, for and to quote, a AAA MMO, Guild Wars related MMO project on the Unreal Engine as well. And that's not like the last time they were hiring, which was just simply, oh yeah, you just gotta work on Unreal Engine. That's it. Now it's far more specific. Like the mission statement is like extremely specific, and that fucking that blew up kind of on Reddit yesterday. I don't think that it's a thing on the official forums, but it's definitely on Reddit. It's a very fresh post. And the guy who posted it does provide a link. And again, I'm not going to do the same thing where I go through it. Just go and read it yourself if you want. But going through it, it's easy to conclude what it is about. Or at least, let's say ArenaNet isn't making any efforts to dissuade people from reaching certain conclusions, right? Which conclusions can only be that this is for Guild Wars 3. And I'll explain my position on that one. But I wanted to talk about it because, first of all, the whole topic interests me quite a lot, especially because I'm very invested in Guild Wars 2. And I thought that like we wouldn't have to have such conversations for at least another 4 or 5 years, according to the original statement of ArenaNet, in response to the shareholders, like, misconstrued interview. Which, let me tell you right now, I'm wondering how misconstrued it was, considering. Because you have that statement back then, Then you have that little hiring again that they were doing, very similar to the one they're doing now, and then third strike, you now have this, right? And it's getting to a point where even I cannot deny that it is absolutely likely that this is about Guild Wars 3. Though again, it's not specifically stated, and they could technically be right that it's not gonna be out in like the next year, but maybe if they're already hiring and they have a direction in mind and they know which engine they're working on. I mean, this is beyond planning, right? This is like happening. So this outright, if this is Guild Wars 3, this outright also makes ANet like absolute liars. At least in my eyes, at least. Which, you know, I can already see your response forming, which is, "Oh, what did you expect? It's a company." Yeah, I don't know, dude. I was expecting a little bit more transparency, I guess, and a bit more like seriousness. Going through the whole hiring thingy, again, they don't explicitly state it's for Guild Wars 3, but they do explicitly state that they require someone with extensive experience working on launching AAA titles, specifically MMORPGs. Again, I said on the Unreal Engine, and so at that point, and also that it is Guild Wars related. So there's just there's no wiggling space there, right? Hi, Neris. And so there's no wiggling space there at all. Like, this is it. Now, I'm going to go through first why this is likely Guild Wars 3, and then I'll go through what that means, even if it's not certain that it's Guild Wars 3. And this is where most of the problem stems from, that we are not certain. Which, if you ask me, is a very toxic stance from our ANet, like just not straight up like saying it, like, you know, owning it or anything. Especially after the statement again, like last year or the year before or whenever the fuck that was. So here's the quick and dirty of it. So there are several distinct possibilities here. If we want to look at it, you know, from every angle and as objectively as possible, then here's the thing. So either it's going to be a spin-off, but in that case, right, if it's a spin-off, in that case you would initially think, oh yeah, no worries, then Guild Wars 2 is safe. Well, is it really? Because if they're talking about AAA, if they're talking about Unreal Engine, if they're talking about extensive narrative, you know, writing ambient dialogues, blah blah blah, and all that shit, like that's not a spin-off at that point. That's basically Guild Wars 3. That's not a spin-off at all. It's literally Guild Wars 3. It's just literally a better Guild Wars. So in a way, Guild Wars 3. So what do you do in that case? If you believe that's the case, your best bet would be to just stop playing Guild Wars. Simple as that, right? So probably as much a spin-off as World of Warcraft is from Warcraft. Yeah, I know what you mean. And I think I agree. But where was I? So this is from the perspective, before I explain the choice here, this is from the perspective of someone who is invested. This is my perspective, right? Who is invested, holds Guild Wars 2 dear, enjoys it very much, but at the same time doesn't want to be victim to sunken cost fallacy, doesn't want to feel like she's playing, you know, because I'm talking about me, so that's my gender. She's playing with a timer above my head, which now isn't like 8, 6, or 10 years, but rather like 2, 3 years, 4 maybe at most, which is completely just dog shit. I don't like that at all. So if you're that kind of person, even though you might absolutely enjoy Guild Wars 2, which I am, it starts feeling like, you know what, why would I wait for them to confirm whether or not it's a spin-off? I might as well just stop playing, invest my time elsewhere, maybe come back later, you know, because Guild Wars allows you to do that. Therefore, why not take advantage of that? It's because of how it is built that you won't lose any progress. Your character will be there. Your gear is gonna be there. There's no vertical gear progression. There's no power creep. Just leave it and go to another game, whatever, because there's a chance that this is Guild Wars 3 and all your effort is gonna go to the fucking garbage can. So with that prospect, the most understandable choice, the most reasonable choice for somebody like me would be to just stop playing, right? Now, if I knew it was a spin-off, at least, and it wasn't Guild Wars 3 and it wasn't meant to replace it in any way, I could consider staying, for example. But at this point, again, AAA spin-off? Guild Wars 2 isn't AAA. The spin-off is gonna be AAA? Fuck off. That's Guild Wars 3 in disguise. It's literally the Scooby-Doo Unmasked JPEG, It's like literally Guild Wars 3 underneath. Like, what the fuck? So in that case, if you believe that's the case, again, better off not playing, right? And I'm getting somewhere with this. I'm not suggesting that you should stop playing. I'm getting somewhere. Just let me cook a bit. Now, let's assume that it is Guild Wars 3, right? Oh, and one last point about the previous assumption. Why would they not announce it? To help players make a decision and to also show them that no, we don't go back on our words. This is a spin-off. They could do that, right? But they're not. So suddenly the chance that this is Guild Wars 3 and they're trying to save face increases. Anyway, next assumption. It is Guild Wars 3 literally. In which case, let me ask you, why the fuck would you keep playing 2? I know a lot of people kept playing 1 after 2 released. But come on, put them side by side. And be real with yourself, Take off the fucking rose-tinted glasses. Detox from copium. And yeah. So, no offense to my Guild Wars 1 lovers out there. But I'm sorry, but yeah. And again, this is from my personal perspective where there is no way that there's going to be a 1 of something. And then 2 of something comes out and I'm still playing 1 because I just played a lot of it. Like that's sunken cost. I don't care about that, I want to move to the next good thing. So if that's what we're doing, why would I play the other thing, right? Especially if I have this thing that creates stress when I feel like there's a countdown above my head, right? I don't like that personally. So again, there's probably others out there that feel the same. So now they too, if they say it's Guild Wars 3, would find stopping the most reasonable solution, right? And this is assuming that you like it within reason, so not to the point of like fanaticism where you're gonna be like, okay, even if the server closes, I'll just keep playing it in my basement. Like, I don't have such a connection. I really love Guild Wars 2, but it doesn't go there. So, just trying to give you the perspective here, right? So to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying and why I think that it's reasonable to conclude that stopping is the way to go. So anyway, to go back to the point, there is also another scenario, which is before, in the case of Guild Wars 3, that would also explain why they're not saying it, why they're not coming out and saying it, because they're trying to save face, basically, just TLDR. Because of that statement they've made and because they know that if they do announce it, it's going to cause some damage. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who thinks like this. As evidenced by, like, what happened last time and how many people were like, okay, well, in that case, I'm leaving, So announcing it would be damaging. Like, very damaging right now. Especially because Guild Wars right now is still in its recovery. It's still in its healing phase. And it really needs to maintain as much momentum as it can and to keep going. So, of course, they wouldn't announce it if the second assumption was true, as said, which is that there is indeed Guild Wars 3 in the oven. A nice little bun with the initials GW3 in the oven. And then there is the third assumption that you can make, which again leads to the same conclusion that it's better to stop playing because you just don't know if it's true. So this last assumption is the most positive one, right? It's the most optimistic one. And that is that perhaps through some strange aeons, right, they are not announcing the next expansion yet because it may mark a move to the Unreal Engine for the whole game. And the reason why they're looking for positions such as that they're advertising for is because they just want to say, okay, you know what, guys, with the next expansion, we're moving to a new engine completely. It's going to be in the oven for a little longer. We're going to do this. You know, again, they would probably announce something like that. If they're in the hiring phase, they would hint at it. They would say something, especially after, the whole thing going public. They would come out and say something because these especially would be insane news. That would be the ass pull of the fucking century, dunking on both World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy for free. Why would they keep such a thing like secret, right? If it was an engine upgrade, which, mind you, that's a huge undertaking, and one could argue that maybe they don't want to do it yet because it might actually, crash and burn as a project. So maybe there is that, like as a saving grace, let's say. But if it is that, the assumption is that, like, okay, it's Unreal Engine upgrade, and they're hiring a writer because they also want to make an amazing expansion for next time, for next expansion, to couple it with like an engine upgrade. Well, even in that case, I mean, normally you would say, oh my god, I believe that possibility, so I should keep playing. No, you shouldn't, because we don't know, which means that it could still be any of the other two scenarios, which are far more likely, especially Guild Wars 3 being a thing, far more fucking likely. And because we just don't know and they're not telling us, you might as well just stop and wait and see what happens, because what's the worst that can happen if you stop and you're assuming that it's like basically the third option that is the correct one. You take a break, which is always healthy. You come back and it's a new fucking game, new expansion, new fucking engine, everything like amazing, fucking mind blown, dude. And you never took the risk of investing more and more time just for it to just sink afterwards. Because it just wasn't an engine upgrade after all. And that's the problem, that we don't know. Therefore, even if you think it's an engine upgrade, it's still a reasonable choice, actually the most reasonable choice, to stop playing, because there is a high chance that it's actually Guild Wars 3. And because of all of that, for all of these choices, best option for me is to stop playing. And, I gave you my reasons, and I gave you how I think about it and why I think that's the best case. And again, you're stopping and literally nothing happens. Like, your progress and everything else is just frozen there. When you pick up, it's going to still be relevant. Nothing's going to change. Expansions catching up, maybe 3 days or something, like 5 days at most. What do you have to lose? Right? But you do have a lot of stuff to lose if you decide to trust them, to trust the solution that it's like, okay, an engine upgrade, and then they hit you with it's Guild Wars 3 bitch, and like 2 years down the line. And you've now spent like 2 years and money on expansions and money on cosmetics and this and that and effort and time wasted, thinking it's going to be an engine upgrade, but no, bitch, it's Guild Wars 3. Right? So why risk that? I'm not going to risk that personally. I am full of hopium that it is an engine upgrade. I am full of hopium. But even I cannot justify staying because we just don't know if it's that. So if at least they would come out and say, hey guys, it definitely isn't an engine upgrade, at least if they could come out and say that, so that we could make a fucking choice, which makes it worse because mysticism and like being cryptic like that and honestly obscurity and vagueness, you know what? Guild Wars 2 player base doesn't need that shit right now. Like the Guild Wars 2 player base off right now doesn't need that shit. And so, again, it also reinforces the idea that it is in fact Guild Wars 3 and they're trying to save face because of their refutal of that statement 1 or 2 years ago. So then you also have some interesting other factoids, right? Like for example, and this is courtesy of Neris, and also if this is wrong, just go after Neris, don't come after me. But I just find it very interesting, so I'm gonna relate. So Neris was like, when we're talking about it today, because yesterday and today, that's all we've been talking about, basically. As we're both like fans of Guild Wars 2, honestly. He was like, okay, there's another sign that this might be actually Guild Wars 3, because the big bad of Visions of Eternity, the latest expansion of Guild Wars 2, does hint at greater threats approaching Tyria. And do you know what happened before Guild Wars 2 launched? At the ending of Guild Wars 1, Primordus was announced or teased. You know, Primordus was teased. And he wasn't in Guild Wars 1. He was in Guild Wars 2. So if we are teased about a new giga threat to Tyria, maybe that's going to be Guild Wars 3. And maybe that's also why they haven't announced any expansion, because there's not gonna be any. We're just jumping through into Guild Wars 3. There is precedence, I'm sorry to say, but there is precedence. And now if you start putting the dots together, you're starting to lean more and more towards, oh my god, it's actually Guild Wars 3. There is also another thing. There's another way for them to still not be liars about not dropping Guild Wars 2 and having plans and expansions for it in the pipe. So here's the thing. In an interview, I think the lead director, of the team said that like I think his name was like Josh Davis or something. He said that like his greatest regret when it comes to Guild Wars 1 is not leaving behind a smaller team to curate it and keep it going while they were working on Guild Wars 2. So basically to split the team and have a smaller part of the team handle Guild Wars 1 so that it doesn't die out and all that. And he said that was his biggest regret. So what if this time, what we're seeing here with the expansions that they said back then, when they refuted the statement of Guild Wars 3 a couple of years ago, who's to say that what they really meant with the refutal was, hey, Guild Wars 2 is still going to go strong, but also Guild Wars 3. And that's where the main, the main power is going to be diverted to. So, which again would make them more or less liars anyway, because they literally refuted that there is a Guild Wars 3, that there are plans for it, or that they're like planning to make it for many, many years, to quote them, like directly fucking quote them, my guys. So, honestly, what the fuck is going on? Because the more and more you look at it, and tinfoil hat JPEG, but come on now. It is evidence, right? It is evidence. And this time there's a lot of evidence. Like, it's not just like, oh, somebody said something in an interview. Now it's like somebody said something back then. ANet's refutal could be interpreted many ways. They were hiring shortly afterwards. They're hiring again. Lore-wise, it can kind of be backed up. A spin-off will essentially be Guild Wars 3 for all intents and purposes, except in name. And also an ancient upgrade, even though technically actually possible, is unlikely. All of that together just points at Guild Wars 3 being a thing. And since I explained my viewpoint on this, we're reaching the point in my yapping where I'm telling you that because of that, what I am personally going to do, I'm not suggesting that you do that. I'm not boycotting. I'm not telling you don't play. Maybe Guild Wars 3 gets announced tomorrow, right? But you still love Guild Wars 2 so much that you'll still play. My guy, more power to you. Honestly, slow clap, and unironically, you go on, You go on, buddy, but like, that's not my mindset. That's not my attitude as a player. And so, because to me all this is going to be, if it is Guild Wars 3 or a spin-off, it is going to be a literal kick in the fucking ass. I guess being trans, I'm allowed to say a kick in the nuts. Um, I'll say that just to convey the pain that this will cause me if I just keep playing and then it's Guild Wars 3. So because that's how I feel, I'm not telling you to feel the same. I'm just explaining. I'll be dropping it. And that's the point of this stream. To tell you and to explain to you why and through what thought processes I decided to do that. With one caveat, which is basically we were talking about with Nerissa said, and we decided, all right, you know what? Let's give it a couple of weeks because this doesn't deserve a month or more. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm done with non-transparent fucking developers. I'm fucking done with that shit. Like, it's disrespectful. So I'm gonna give it a couple of weeks. That's what we decided. If there is like radio silence from our ANet, we're out of there. That's it. I smell the fucking fire. I smell the garbage fire, my guys. So I'll be out of there. And that's the conclusion. That's it. That's where we're at. And it is extremely sad because going on the forums and like on Reddit, sorry, and reading about it, a lot of people feel like this is like it's much more sober. And for that, I'm really thankful, towards the community, the player base. It's a much more sober reaction this time around. It's not doomsaying. It's literally people saying, my God, why the fuck would they do this and not be transparent? It hurts the game. It hurts its reputation. It gives ammunition to doomsayers. Why are you doing this? It's a stupid choice all around. And it makes it, unfortunately, it makes leaving the game the ideal choice for somebody who respects their time and also wants their time to be respected by others, especially a fucking game, right? Especially developers that you're paying, whether because you're a whale like me or because you just bought the fucking game, right? Imagine having bought all these expansions, like 150 euro or something, off a sale, and then you're hit with, we're hiring, by the way, we're hiring for a AAA Unreal Guild Wars related project. Like, bro, bruised nuts. That's all I'm gonna say. Bruised nuts and bruised wallet. And you're literally like, with this kind of attitude and this kind of approach to it, Arena is literally telling people just, stay away. It's under construction, just stay away. We don't know what's gonna come out of the oven. It might be Guild Wars 3. It might be Guild Wars 4 for all we care. Just stay away. That's what they're communicating with this behavior. I don't appreciate that. And on a principle, I don't want to keep playing if that's the case. I don't care what's in the oven. I don't care for surprises. What Guild Wars 2 needs right now is stability, transparency, communication between the devs and the player base, telling us what the plans are, creating some trust, especially after what happened a couple of years ago. Like, people were like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, is Guild Wars dying? Like, yeah. Not to mention that, honestly, if Guild Wars 3 launches, if it is Guild Wars 3 and it launches, you know what? More power to you once more. It might be amazing. It might be fucking amazing. Imagine like Guild Wars 3 being like where winds meet or something, but with the freedom of Guild Wars, and like, it could be amazing for all we know. But that is beyond the point. Because how would I trust them, right? How would I trust them again? Because they will be liars in that case. Like, worst devs ever. Not even joking. I don't want to give them money or trust them personally. So to me, I don't care. Maybe I'll try 3 when it comes out. Sure, whatever. Maybe if I'm bored of like this or that other MMO that I'll be playing at the time, I might say, okay, you know what, sure. But I will never shake off this feeling of betrayal, honestly. And you might think I'm entitled in feeling betrayed, but I can't help how I feel at the end of the day, I can't help how I feel, my guys. Where did I pick up the my guys thing? I think it's because I'm kind of exhausted and pessimistic about this. Maybe that's why I'm talking like that. Like, Greek mode is on right now, So that's where we're at. And again, I'm not like trying to boycott. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or how to think. I'm just explaining that this is the reason why it is extremely likely, unless something changes and we get an announcement or something that okay, this is not Guild Wars 3 or whatever, that you're not gonna see a Guild Wars 2 stream from me again. And I just wanted to, or a video where I talk about it, or a stream where I talk about it. That's gone. That's done. It's over. It's all Jover. And this is the reason. And I just presented you with the line of thought that I have, which led me to my decision. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't mean to slander or to shit talk the devs or whatever. It's just my own opinions, my own feelings towards it, and my own interpretation and deductions based on the situation. No doomsaying, nothing. Just, I don't like this. I just don't fucking like this at all. And most of all, and this doesn't have to do with Guild Wars, it has to do with any game. I am so fucking done, any MMO, sorry. I'm so fucking done with MMO sequels. I'm so fucking done with MMOs like starting over. I'm so fucking done with that. It's over. I don't care about it. I've done it in World of Warcraft. I've done it in Guild Wars. I've done it in Final Fantasy. Multiple times in all three of them. It is exhausting. I don't want to do it again. I don't care about Guild Wars 3. It might be amazing. I don't fucking care. I don't want a Guild Wars 3. It's fine. You can have it, guys. If it is Guild Wars 3, I absolutely hope it's amazing and it pays off and it's worth the fucking sacrifice of Guild Wars 2. And I'm not being ironic or dramatic. I really hope this is the case. But for me, I'm done. I never asked for a new MMO. If I wanted a new MMO, I would wait for Riot's MMO, or I would wait for, I'd go and play where fucking farts meet or something. I would play something like that, fucking Conquer, or I don't something else. Lost Ark when it came out, or something like that. Anyways, or Throne and Liberty. But I didn't because I'm fucking tired, dude. Not because I'm old. I'm just tired. It's different. I'm fed up with the process of reaching the end game. I'm fucking fed up with this shit. If I'm going to struggle, I'll just take my fucking sand bucket and go build a castle over at Final Fantasy again. Fuck it, like for real. So there you go. And again, don't mistake this for, oh my god, fuck Guild Wars, or oh my god, Final Fantasy is better, or even that like this is confirmation that Guild Wars 3 is a thing. I'm not confirming anything. I'm just explaining to you why I think what I think, and what led me there, and what dots I connected, and why and how, and what I'm gonna fucking do about it. And that was the purpose of this very quick stream. And I needed to yap about it because honestly, it hit me in the fifis, and I fucking hate that. It really hit me in the fifis. I was really warming up to Guild Wars. I was really warming up to maybe streaming raids with my group when they returned from Final Fantasy's last Sabbath tier. I was looking forward to a lot of things in Guild Wars, both as a streamer and as a player. And all that is gone now, and I'm fucking pissed off about it. I guess catch you in Final Fantasy or something. I don't fucking know. Which, by the way, fuck streaming that shit. Just being clear with you right now. I've tried that. I never felt fine. Like Guild Wars is the only MMO that I streamed for as long as I streamed, doing the things I did, if you could call it a stream. It was just like streaming my routine, I guess. But yeah. You're not gonna catch me streaming Final Fantasy. I tried it. It's fucking miserable, honestly. I fucking tried it, I think, 3 times. So yeah. So I guess rip my fucking Guild Wars 2 stream. Good timing though, because I got Hollow Knight. I think I might go back to that. I definitely have Assassin's Creed, which I fucking absolutely love. Or rather, yeah, I really enjoy it. Like in the moment, I fucking love it right now. I'm having fun. And also Skyrim, which, holy shit. Yeah. very close to starting to stream that again. So good timing, I guess. Could be better. I wish I didn't have to come to those conclusions, but again, like I can't help how my fifis are telling me things are, and you know, not to steer any drama, not to trash talk. Like I told you this already. I mentioned all that already. Okay, so we're clear on this one. I'm not like here to shit talk or doom post or make you try to tell you how you should feel, nor to tell you which of the three possibilities is true, because we simply just don't know, which is also part of the problem. Like it's a huge part of the problem, and a huge part of what led me to this decision. Because like fuck you don't want to tell me what's up. Okay, well when you decide and you show me, I will then tell you if I want to give a fuck. You know. And in case you can't vote with your wallet because I've already paid for Guild Wars and it's free, there's no subscription, but I'm gonna pay with my time. I'm gonna take my time wallet and invest it elsewhere. I'm gonna back to Final Fantasy. That's it. you know but I'll still give it a couple of weeks, during which I'm not gonna probably bother playing much. I'm probably not gonna bother streaming it as a result. And then I'll decide. So either you'll see me streaming it again at one point, and I'll be happily telling you about, oh, they came out and said that it's an engine upgrade, or the sniff wasn't dramatic. The sniff was, I have a slight cold, and my throat is still shit. And so yeah, you get it. I don't need to add anything. Basically, I've been talking about it for 40 fucking minutes, which is already an achievement for a lowly streamer like me, for one other one. Hey, I might even stream my Elden Ring co-op with Neris, as a chill stream, not really, the usual, like, Elden Ring stream, I'll finish it or not, part 1, part 2, part 3, nothing like that. Maybe just chill, stream it, whatever, not even upload it. Maybe I'll do that until Skyrim is ready, while I'm also playing Assassin's Creed. I mean, I have things to fill to fill the Monday slot with. I'm not worried at all. I'm just like dismayed. I'm literally just dismayed and disappointed. Honestly, mostly. I'm not even mad. I don't have the strength to be mad about such things. But I am really disappointed, honestly, especially by ANet's handling of the situation. They don't seem to have a grasp of the situation, and it's funny because the guys on Reddit, like the mods on Reddit, are not even taking the post down as doom posts for Guild Wars 3, which, if you didn't know, they do that. If you doom post about Guild Wars 3, it will be taken down because, there is no Guild Wars 3, quote unquote, at least according to ANet from 2 years ago. But this thread, this one they let fly. This one they're like, yeah, this is a constructive conversation about something that actually might be Guild Wars 3. Like, they're also saying it. That actually this might be Guild Wars 3. And again, like, let me point out that, like, if it's a spin-off, baby, it's Guild Wars 3. It's just a different way of saying it's Guild Wars 3. If it's Guild Wars 3, then obviously that's it. And if it's an engine upgrade, we're all gonna be like very, very surprised. Let me put it that way, because it's fucking unlikely as all hell. So, rip, I guess. Rip my stream. And again, if you feel like you wanna still play it, I mean, people still play 1. I don't fucking know. But I'm not gonna swallow that pill. I'm out of here. Honestly, I'm just fucking out of here. Unless we have some news within the next like 10-15 days from our ANet, like something official saying, oh yeah, this is a different game, or oh yeah, this is like a telltale version of the story, or some shit like that, anything, honestly. But yeah, I hope they do that because I'm not gonna wait more than 10-15 days and I'm out of there. So, yep. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening and thanks for being here. And I hope you enjoyed this little like emergency stream, this emergency meeting. And I hope you learned something in case you hadn't heard about all this fucking bullshit. I think I've been very clear about like my intentions with this stream, with whatever I said, and that it's all like personal to me. And I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not saying that it's confirmed it's Guild Wars 3, you know. There's nothing else left to say. And so, you know, thanks for watching. And I'll see you on my regular schedule on Saturday. How about that? And yeah, just don't expect any Guild Wars the coming couple of weeks. And then potentially, depending, maybe not expect at all. And also don't expect to see me in there, you know? And I just thought I should let you know and share my feelings, my fifis about the whole situation. But you do you, you know? Most of all, you do you. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Right. And also, you know, our ANet, if this is Guild Wars 3, fuck you guys. Like, honestly, fuck you guys. Fuck you, and you know what? Fuck your game, if this is Guild Wars 3. And I hate not knowing, and it is so fucking on purpose that they're not saying anything, and so fucking suspicious. I don't like anything about it. I don't like anything about it, you know? But I would love, this is what I do know, I would fucking love it. 15 days from now, they say something like, yep, we didn't want to tell you. We wanted to surprise you. It's an engine upgrade. That's the only thing, that's the only possible positive scenario. Everything else, for me, is a pile of hot steaming dog shit, wow. Dog shit, and I don't